I never thought time travel was possible until it happened to me. It was 2023, and I was working on a secret government project to develop a time machine. We had made some progress, but there were still a lot of unknowns. One day, while conducting a test, something went wrong, and I found myself transported to another time. I looked around, trying to make sense of my surroundings. I was standing in a field, surrounded by lush greenery and rolling hills. It took me a moment to realize that I wasn't in 2023 anymore. I checked my watch, and to my surprise, it had stopped working. I started walking, hoping to find some signs of civilization. After a while, I saw smoke rising in the distance, and I made my way towards it. As I got closer, I saw a small village with thatched roofs and wooden houses. People were going about their daily lives, tending to their crops and livestock. I must have looked out of place because everyone stopped what they were doing and stared at me. I didn't speak their language, and they didn't speak mine, so we couldn't communicate. I gestured that I was hungry, and they brought me some bread and cheese. I ate quickly, trying to come up with a plan. I knew I had to find a way back to my own time, but I didn't know how. I asked around, and one of the villagers pointed me in the direction of a wise woman who was said to have special powers. I didn't have any other options, so I decided to give it a try. The wise woman was a crone with a wrinkled face and piercing blue eyes. She listened to my story and nodded as if she understood. She spoke in a language I didn't know, but I felt a strange sensation as she did. It was like my body was vibrating, and I heard a high-pitched sound in my ears. When she finished, she handed me a small pouch and gestured for me to leave. I didn't know what was in the pouch, but I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe it was something that could help me get back to my own time. I walked back to the village and slept in a barn for the night. The next day, I set out again, determined to find a way back home. As I walked, I opened the pouch and found a strange-looking device. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before, with glowing green crystals and a complicated array of wires. I didn't know how to use it, but I figured it must be the key to my time travel. I started fiddling with it, hoping to trigger something. Suddenly, I heard a loud buzzing noise, and the device sprang to life. It was like a vortex opened up in front of me, and I felt myself being sucked in. When I opened my eyes, I was in a completely different place. I was standing on a cobblestone street, surrounded by stone buildings and a massive castle in the distance. It was a bustling city, and people were dressed in elaborate clothing and speaking a language I didn't understand. I realized that I had traveled even further back in time, to the year 1456. I couldn't believe my luck. This was the Renaissance, a time of great art, science, and discovery. I could learn so much here. But first, I had to figure out how to survive. I couldn't speak the language, and I had no money or resources. I wandered the streets looking for help. Eventually, I found a man who spoke a little bit of English. He was a merchant, and he took pity on me. He gave me some coins and pointed me towards an inn where I could stay for the night. I thanked him and made my way to the inn. The innkeeper was suspicious of me at first, but I managed to convince him to let me stay by using the coins the merchant had given me. I slept soundly that night, feeling grateful for the kindness of strangers. The next day, I woke up early and started exploring the city. I marveled at the beauty of the buildings and the grandeur of the castle. Everywhere I looked, there were people busy with their work, creating beautiful things and discovering new ideas. I knew that I had to be careful not to draw too much attention to myself. I dressed in simple clothes and tried to blend in with the crowds. But as I walked through the streets, I couldn't help but feel like an outsider. I didn't belong here, not really. Still, I was determined to make the most of my time here. I visited museums and libraries, learning as much as I could about the history and culture of this time. I met artists and scholars who were pushing the boundaries of their fields, and I marveled at their ingenuity. But as time went on, I started to feel a sense of unease. I realized that I couldn't stay here forever, that I had a life in my own time that I needed to return to. I missed my family and my friends, and I yearned to see them again. So I started experimenting with the time travel device, trying to figure out how to use it to get back home. But every time I tried, it malfunctioned. sending me to different times and places without any rhyme or reason. It was like the device had a mind of its own, and it was determined to keep me here. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. I had given up hope of ever returning home, resigned to living out the rest of my life in this strange and wonderful world. But then, one day, something miraculous happened. I was walking through the city, lost in thought, when I saw a flash of green light. It was coming from the time travel device in my pocket, and I knew that this was my chance. I took it out, hoping against hope that it would work this time, and it did. The device hummed to life, and I felt the familiar sensation of being sucked into a vortex. When I opened my eyes, I was back in 2023, in the lab where I had started this whole adventure. My colleagues were staring at me in shock, and I realized that I must have been gone for a long time. But I didn't care. I was just happy to be home, to be surrounded by familiar faces and modern technology. I spent the next few days debriefing with the government officials who had funded our project. I told them everything that had happened, from my journey through time to my experiences in the past. They listened with rapt attention, fascinated by what I had learned. In the end, my debriefing took a surprising turn. Instead of shelving the time travel project, they were impressed by my experiences and the potential benefits of exploring the past. They decided to expand the project, investing more resources and recruiting a larger team to continue our work. I was thrilled by this turn of events, and I threw myself into the project with renewed vigor. Over the next few years, we made incredible breakthroughs, developing new technologies and techniques for traveling through time. We explored different eras and civilizations, discovering untold wonders and solving historical mysteries. Our work was not without its risks and challenges, but we persisted, driven by our thirst for knowledge and our desire to make a difference in the world. And as we delved deeper into the past, we uncovered secrets and treasures that we never could have imagined. In the end, our project changed the course of history, transforming our understanding of the past and opening up new possibilities for the future. And I was proud to have been a part of it, to have traveled through time and witnessed the wonders of the past firsthand.